I like Ben 10 Alien Force in part because of how mature it feels. It's a natural progression from Classic, where Ben was an immature 10-year-old. The character and the show age properly alongside the core demographic. And I think it's a huge reason Ben 10 has so much staying power. The episode The Gauntlet really demonstrates this newly found maturity very well. We have JT and Cash, who are the childish bullies from Classic, still acting childish 5 years later. They spill smoothies all over Ben and think it's the funniest thing ever. Now, Ben could easily go alien and tear them up like in the past, but instead he just tells them like it is. He is brutal and honest with them, making it clear he is the bigger man. This really humiliates them, especially Cash. Then Cash grows attached to an alien robot Gauntlet, and we see it start to consume him, a metaphor for his growing resentment of Ben. Then we see this get out of hand, and Cash is held captive by the growing armor. The situation only resolves when Cash chooses his own path forward, and rejects his stereotypical bully path in life. It really shows us that anyone can change for the better, and carve out a better future for themselves. This episode also has a Seinfeld reference.
No juice for you!
No soup for you!
Personally, I love this change of maturity, not only in character, but in the whole show. You know what I mean? Like, Ben really matures in this. I don't think he matures, but he is a matured character.
He shows his maturity. He shows how he's matured, kind of thing. Like, he is mature in this whole show, but this really points it out.
Yeah.
Because we see JT and Cash and Ben 10 Classic as the guys that always have the upper hand on Ben, but then he'll always try to get back at him. You know what I mean? We see it every time they give him a wedgie and stuff like that.
Yeah, he comes back and gives them a wedgie twice as much.
Yeah.
And even like in that baseball episode, it's all petty BS. Like, he's fully trying to mess with them the whole episode.
Exactly. And instead this time, like, he would have changed into goop and like gooped on their hair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like the same as like a smoothie would be thrown at you. But instead he kind of just gives them, like, literally uses his words and is like, dude, this is so old. We're 15. Like, grow up, kind of thing. No one here is laughing except for you. Like, you're stuck in 10-year-old mindset, you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is like the most power fantasy it gets for like a child.
Yeah, this is shower arguments personified, you know?
It's just fully like, yeah, I said that and the whole crowd cheered.
Yeah, everyone clapped and Obama gave me an award. You know, like Dwayne McDuffie had some bullies that he had this ready for, you know?
Sure. Well, you see that a lot in Stephen King works too. Like, Stephen King's always like, there were some classic bullies and they all got killed by the monster.
Yeah. Or with Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
They always, I mean, the new TED show, he like goes in on this girl like in school, and it's like, you can tell Seth MacFarlane was probably bullied as a kid, and he's just got all these ready to go kind of thing.
Sure. And his teddy bear persona is going to be able to take the girl out for him.
Exactly.
No, but today we're talking about the gauntlet. Give a bit of power on that.
Not a fighting gauntlet. Like, not a gauntlet of heroes.
Yeah.
But like an actual...
Like a ham.
Yeah, like
a little ham.
Like a Thanos gauntlet, if you will.
I will.
Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a Steven. And we are the binge warmers.
Thanks for watching us, guys. We're watching through every single episode of Ben 10. Doing Alien Force right now, and we're cooking through first season. We're almost done with the first season, really.
We are. We've been cooking.
Got a couple more episodes to go, but we are enjoying it. Playlist up top if you want to see the rest of our videos and future videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Gauntlet is fairly unimportant.
No, very filler. You could skip if you wanted to.
Right. It's a JT and Cash centric episode. Like, Cash has the arc. Yeah. Ben and Kevin and all them don't really have an arc.
They're more just like foils for their arc kind of thing. They're supporting characters in their own show at this point.
And I don't mind that. Like, I think, you know, because Ben in the show is, the first 2 seasons at least, he's sort of learning to become a hero and learning to become a better leader and stuff like that.
Right.
But he's sort of, I don't want to say he's like peaked as far as character, you know. Like, I don't think he's peaked yet.
No.
I was trying to liken him to like Captain America in the MCU, where like he just doesn't learn at all.
Yeah.
Like, he's the same guy for the most part, like throughout the whole movies. But...
Or Korra from Legend of Korra.
Yeah, but that's just poor writing.
I was about to say, she has a very flat arc throughout 4 seasons, you know what I mean?
It's everyone else's fault.
It is.
Even though, like, legitimately she does everything that causes the problem.
Exactly. So. No, but it's really fun to see this again. It's nice to see JT and Cash get some legacy characters in there. We see the first time, and I think this is the first time we see Kevin's skin kind of get punctured and broken at different points. We've talked about it before, where we don't really like that much, because if it's a DNA thing, there shouldn't be your skin under it. shouldn't be in a casing. It is your skin turning into that thing.
I do kind of wonder if it's like quicker. Like he can do a layer over himself. And we've also seen him make a layer on top of someone else.
Yeah.
When he's trying to save that guy from the burning car, he like puts a little layer of asphalt on that guy, and I don't understand how that works.
No, not at all.
Why doesn't he always do that?
Yeah.
I guess he does that to Gwen one time, right? When she's like possessed by the Lacubra or whatever, he puts that metal on her head or something.
I believe
like that.
So. Yeah, I think he does.
I'll have to double check. But
It's really cool that he could do that.
Yeah, sure.
But it's never explored again.
I mean, you would think he would do it more because, like, you know, it's like the Iron Man debate too, where it's like, well, it could be Humongosaur or it could be Humongosaur covered in asphalt.
True, but it does make sense. So if I'm glad you brought this up because it actually just sparked this in my head. Because we said we don't like that it's a casing because he's actually becoming metal, right? His skin is now metal. It makes more sense that he can encapsulate others with it because he's just liquefying his metal and putting it on someone else kind of thing. But if it's an encasing, it doesn't make sense that then he can then put it on something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like it's like he's creating it to put on them.
Yeah, like if he becomes concrete like we thought, then he can pour more concrete on someone else.
Yeah.
But if it's chipping and you see the skin underneath, then he should never be able to put that on someone else kind of thing.
I would agree with that. I think Kevin's powers, like most of the powers in Ben 10, especially like this point moving forward, are sort of inconsistent.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know, because ultimately Chromostone takes this guy down at full power.
Yeah.
But you know, they don't fight. It's not
it's very...
But he's winning the fight.
Yeah.
Kevin, at least, I feel like could put up a fight against Chromostone.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets like he gets thrown on his back. You know what I mean?
And I think this is, for those of you participating in our Who Would Win right now, we put up a poll about Kevin versus Cyborg.
Yeah.
This is a prime example. He fought a Cyborg and he lost, but everyone's like, no, Cyborg would lose to Kevin. It's like, we just saw that that's not true. I'm just going to throw that out there for any of you guys voting Kevin.
And granted, that poll is not over yet, so you can still go vote
if you
on that
go,
poll.
You can't change your mind, though, can you?
No, you can't change your mind.
Damn.
But if you're watching this and you haven't actually voted on that, which is probably some of you.
Yeah.
I don't know what the spread looks like, but you can go do it. Right now, this week, it's Grandpa Max and Dick Grayson, Robin.
Robin. Not happy with that outcome so far.
You know, I don't think they ever say it's Dick Grayson. They just say Robin, right?
Yeah, they just say Robin. But you're led to believe because he turns into Nightwing later.
Oh, that's true. I wanted to transition, though, because JT is voiced by Scott Menville, who is Robin.
Yeah. I heard it, and I was like, ha, Robin. Also, for any anime lovers, the dubbed version of Shikamaru in Naruto
cool.
is voiced by Robin as well.
I kind of hate his voice for, like, younger kids. Not
Really?
Robin. Robin's good. Robin's very cool, and it's like he does a really good performance on Robin.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, and JT's fine too. But like when he's playing Jimmy Jones in Ultimate Alien, hate it. Cut that. When he's playing Ken in Omniverse, hate it. Cut that.
Really?
I hate him being Ken. It sounds hokey. I don't know. Sounds like an adult man doing a child's voice.
Really? I will say for Shikamaru, he sounds pretty much like Robin. It's like almost cut and paste the same. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it works in that situation. Maybe because it is darker and kind of more gritty. But like Ken, aka Spanner, is like the most annoying character for me just because of his voice.
Yeah.
And this guy does a good job. Like I love his Robin performance.
Yeah.
But and JT, like again in this episode, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just for whatever reason those two characters get on my nerves like a lot.
Very interesting. Yeah. So we get what is the name of this robot that we fight?
The Tekadon, a Tekadon armor.
Yeah, and you said we don't get into Ultimate Alien. We don't get the actual origins of this.
I think so. We see like the weapon masters, like the people who come from the planet and they make them things. There's like a big cube that like sets up in downtown or something. I think is the next time we get Tekadon.
So we don't know why they're fighting this guy. He's just there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like their villain of the week that they're kind of just putting on ice, and then I always get the mixed up. Cash gets the glove.
Yeah.
Thinking that we'll wreck Kevin's car and we'll be the coolest guys in town. It's like we just said that's not what makes you cool. We just said that.
It's such an interesting turn of events too, because JT is the one who's like, "Oh, Cash, you should break his car," but then Cash is kind of like picking on him a little bit because he's upset that Ben did the whole speech
mocked him and stuff, made him look like a clown in front of everybody.
So
JT's like, don't hit me. Go take your hanger out on that car.
And very unsubtly, they say that too. He's like, well, if I'm hanging out with Cash, then he's not going to attack me. Which is more than that, by the way. They're friends. Like, they're actually friends.
Yeah, they're lovers even, maybe.
They're pretty close. And they're, like, sleeping in an abandoned factory together.
Yeah, which is weird. You don't have homes.
Surely they've got homes.
Like, it's cool to hang out in an abandoned factory. I think that'd be sick to have a little hideout over there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Go home and sleep in a bed, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going home and sleeping in a bed. Or build, like, a bunk area in the factory.
Yeah.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
But we didn't see that. We just saw a lot of mannequins, which is also weird. They're weird. Okay.
They're pretty weird dudes.
Maybe go to school. Just go to school. Maybe that's what you should do.
I don't understand why they think Kevin's the coolest person in town. Like
He
Kevin,
is.
I mean, he is, granted, but like he should be low key since he was like a kind of a criminal. You know what I mean?
I think it's because we'll just assume everyone in town is the age of Ben, right?
Yeah.
Everyone that we see, everyone that's judged and stuff. None of them have a car. You're automatically cooler because you have a car.
You got a point.
So
It is a cool car too.
exactly. And Kevin's very dark and brooding and doesn't talk. And he's got Gwen on his shoulder, and everyone's like, "Oh, Gwen's a hottie," and she went for Kevin. You know,
Yeah.
Kevin's got so many things going to make him look cool. You know what I mean?
There's a this is a funny episode, by the way. A lot of
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
bits. They're talking about, so Kevin figures out where Cash is because JT came and he was trying to, he's like, oh, you need to warn Ben because he's got the glove, and so
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
pretty dangerous. And he's like, no, Ben can take care of himself. You need to worry about your friend.
Yeah.
And then so Kevin's like, where's he at? You mess my car up. Where's he at?
Yeah.
And then JT and Gwen go tell Ben about it, and then Ben's like, Kevin's gonna murder that kid.
Yeah.
Because Gwen's like, no, Kevin's changed a little bit. Okay, he hadn't changed. We should probably go.
We should probably go. This could be very bad. Which I love. It's so good. We get a little Seinfeld reference.
Yeah.
Kevin's like, you want to help me, Ben? Go away. And he's like, okay. So he's going to get like a Mr. Smoothie. He grabs it and goes, no juice for you. And he like runs. He just gets out. Kevin's so shocked. Like,
Kevin's face literally is like,
he's offended almost. He's like, bro. Like, I'm allowed to do that. You're just supposed to go with it, you know?
But then he like steals Gwen's juice and he drinks it and he says, there's a fruit bone in here.
Yeah, what the...
This is a weird like exchange.
I'm assuming he gets like a strawberry that comes through the straw or something,
maybe.
you know?
Or like a stem or something
Yeah,
from
and
the
it's
fruit.
like, it's not yours. Why are you complaining right now?
This is the first time we see Mr. Smoothie in a
Yeah.
Ben 10 episode.
Yeah, we see a lot of it too. We start to
Yes.
see Ben loves Mr. Smoothie.
And I don't know what about this episode. This must be the inception of that idea because
Yeah.
he's double fisting
Just drinking it.
with chocolate smoothie and carrot smoothie.
Yeah. She's like, how long you been here? Or how many of those have you drank? Enough to know that carrot and chocolate don't go together.
What a weird
Where's he getting all this
occurrence.
money to buy? Smoothies aren't cheap. Well, they're probably a lot cheaper back then, but in today's money, they are not cheap.
Even still, it's like, I mean, he spent all his allowance like taking Julie out that one time.
Yeah.
They couldn't. All they did.
He's
had
like,
to
this
go
is all my
was beer.
allowance. Give me some cotton candy. I will tell you, I had a PB&J smoothie one time.
Oh,
Brother. Gooder.
I love smoothies actually. Like I used to
Yeah.
eat smoothies every morning for breakfast. Like it used to be really easy just to get up and blend stuff and go to work.
It's a fine line, though, between healthy and you're just drinking a fruity milkshake. You
yep,
know,
yep.
There's a very fine line.
And you also can drink your calories too. So like
Yeah.
if you pour in a lot of additives and stuff, it quickly becomes less fruit, more sugar.
I would go strawberry over banana because like one banana is like 100 calories, whereas you can get like 8 strawberries for the same amount of calories.
Also, peanut butter and banana like destroy the flavors you put in there. So if you
Yeah.
put either one of those things in there, it's now that smoothie.
Always use powdered peanut butter over actual peanut butter because it's healthier for you as well.
And I feel like it spreads a little bit better.
We
Probably.
should just make this a smoothie channel.
Welcome to Mr. Smoothie Ben 10 Binge Warmers.
Yeah, we
Let's
should do a
go grab a
binging
shot.
with Babish and we recreate Benson smoothies.
Has he done that? He should do that if he hasn't done that.
Yeah, he totally watches this channel too. So
Binging with Babish. We also binge.
yeah, we'll do a collab with him. He'll totally do it.
That would be so sick,
Oh, I would
dude.
love to do a collab with that.
I love
It would
him,
work
yeah.
though. We gotta have the idea for it. We'll have our people get with his people.
We don't have any. We're the people.
I'm gonna ask you later to tweet him.
Give him a little DM that he's never gonna see.
But anyway, yeah. So we get a lot of Mr. Smoothie in this. That's where the final fight goes down to,
Yep.
or lack of a fight.
Yep.
You get Chromostone just showing up, dog.
Love
Unit.
Chromosome.
He's so sick. It's like classic Diamond Head peak, and then you get Chromostone peak. You know what I mean?
You think he's more peak than Diamond Head?
No, I'm thinking both of them
Oh,
are
okay,
peak.
okay, cool.
You know,
I guess that's the Petropians. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, I'm
Sick
telling
as
you.
hell.
they're sick as fuck, dude.
I love, and now that we get Chromosome a little bit more in this episode. The first time we saw him was in All the Glitters. He didn't do
Yeah.
very much.
He showed up. I'm a conductor. Punch.
And
I'm
this,
conducting you to the knockout train.
I'm conducting you on the floor.
It's so What?
But we get him doing way more here. He's got the super strength. He's got like, I love that like the Tekadon armor like shoots him and it like fires into him and out of him at like an angle, like a prism almost. You know?
Or he could absorb it and shoot it back.
Yes.
It makes you wonder. We get Goop's introduction.
Yes, first time we see Goop.
Why use Goop though when you see how well Chromosome works against this guy?
What's even funnier is that he says, "I got the perfect guy for this," and it's like, do you really?
It's like as many times as you go Humongosaur, this seems like the most adequate time. You know?
Maybe my theory was that he was already Humongosaur. That was his go-to.
Oh, and it didn't work
because his watch needed recharging at the very beginning.
I love too. He's not twisting it. He's tapping it over and over again. It's like, bro, what are you doing? It's obviously not going to work. Just sit there and just sit still for a second. You know?
Or like just play some defense. I don't know. Like
get a plumber gun for when you're powered down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's so simple. When I was a kid though, and I watched this episode, I thought it was going to be a sumo slammer thing because the Tekadon is kind of Japanese themed with the faceplate.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is this the evolution of sumo slammers in Ben 10? And then it turned out to be completely unrelated. Yeah. But I was like, oh, dang, that could have been something.
Would you have liked another Sumo Slammers episode or something? Like, see if he get like transported. There's a Sumo Slammers movie in the Ultimate Alien series.
I would mean if they did look cool. You know?
I was thinking like he could have get turned and got like, put in the movie somehow.
I think they could have worked with it. I see a lot now because Dan's been putting out some videos, which they've been pretty good. I liked watching them. But there was one where he was like saying the perks and cons of each series.
Yeah.
And this one got hated on for like the art style. And I'm like watching. I'm like, I kind of like the art style of Alien Force. You know what I mean? But he was like, it's widely received as like the worst art style. And I was just like, I liked it.
I think it's just because it's sort of boring comparatively.
To me, it feels more like grown up. You know what I mean? Like if you're watching like Young Justice or Generator Rex had a similar art style, in my opinion.
Art style, yes. I think you can tell like the animation.
Yeah.
If you compare like the fluidity of how everything moves.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. To me though, like it just felt more grown up. So when I was a kid, I was like, "This is cool." I thought I was more mature watching it.
I don't really hate any of the art styles. I think they all blend. I mean,
I say all that to say that I think in this art style, Sumo Slammer's like video game. Would have looked cool. That's where I was trying to tie it back into.
Gotcha.
But I was thinking, I was like, people hate on this art style. This is which I'm a slut for Alien Force, really. So.
Sure, yeah. I think my biggest problem with the overall art and the direction visually is the dark backgrounds, which we get some of that in this, but
which we also realized we learned later that they just didn't brighten it like they were supposed to.
But I think it was a thematic choice because they were like, I think so because they were like, we want this darker, and I think someone literally was like, okay, we'll make the background. Did
somebody
darker.
Say boom?
Use the hammer instead of the chisel or whatever, you know.
Yeah. I like that.
Ben says after defeating... he defeats the Tekadon by going inside of his goop after Gwen cuts his hand off.
Expanding.
Yeah, how does that work at all with... I mean, the conductor's up on... I thought the conductor went in it. Yeah. What is it called? Like the projector? Gravity projector?
Something like that. It basically controls goop for anyone who doesn't know. But
I used to think there was a little guy in the machine, like a little gray matter size guy, or like a little nanomech type size guy. I thought it was like a UFO that like someone was piloting, but I don't think so. I think it's just...
There's a lot confusing about goop. How is he sentient? How is the metals? Is it the metal?
Is there a whole planet full of these guys? Do they have like variety in their body shapes, or like
when they come home, do they just take the projector off and like slide around? You know,
there's a do you know? Have you seen that? I don't know if it's I think it's just like a line of dialogue or something in a Fantastic Four comic. Reed Richards has to concentrate on being human, like staying in the human form.
Yeah,
because he can just shapeshift his body however. And so I think Sue or somebody, it was a Twitter post I saw about it, but it was like, you think Sue ever walks in on him and he's just a big pile of goo on the bed?
Well, we do see something. I've seen something similar to that. It's when Spider-Man comes over and he's like, I can get more brain power looking like this. And he's like this big blob of like limbs. He's like, this is like the most, like least amount of brain power at the rest of my body to where it's all focused in on the thing I need to do. And Spider-Man's just sitting there and he's looking and he's like, this is disgusting. It looks like Squidward when everyone got formed into him kind of thing. That's what he looked like, and I was just like, that's disturbing. I don't like that.
Reed is so gross, bro, but I do like his power set.
But to bring it back to that question, you were like, how did he do that? My thought process is, so he gets inside of it, and then the projector is basically trying to pull him out. So he expands himself, trying to pull him out of the suit kind of thing. And that's how we think it's expanding. He's really just getting pulled back out.
I can see that.
Through every orifice of the robot, you know?
The orifices.
I like the word orifice.
It's very descriptive. You know exactly what you're talking about when you say orifice.
Exactly, dude.
do you like? How do you feel about Goop as in general?
He's
as an
cool.
alien?
He's all right. I like his little comic run that he does that one time when he's running from fans.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
He's just like.
He doesn't need to run at all, by the way. That must
Yeah.
just be Ben's head.
Yeah, for
doing
sure.
that, yeah.
I think, like I said, he's a little confusing if you think about him too hard. So I don't like to think about him that too much. I don't think he's ever the man for the job, but he can get the job done.
I'll tell you that one episode. There's one specific episode where he really does a lot when they're on Ripjaw's planet, and he's like he puts himself in like the core of it or whatever,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
like it's because Agrigor like destroys the gravity.
Oh yeah, he takes his actual
Yeah,
thing and
yeah,
he goes,
yeah.
"This is what it does for me, so it can do it for the whole planet."
The whole planet gets a little bit green, and like,
Yeah,
everything
dude.
comes back together.
That was sick. That was actually kind of sick.
Now that's one of the coolest feats of any alien.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah, yeah.
it's so sick. But
Imagine that brings into question like the computing power that thing would need. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's basically designed to control this little bit. You know, so it's like you're designed to control this part of your body. Imagine taking your brain though, and putting it in the Earth and say, okay, now control the entire Earth. Does it have the power, really? The brain power to do that? You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know. I doubt it.
So, like, it's the same kind of thing. It's still sick, but
Well,
again,
if it-
more questions than answers.
It's funny that like he can do that, but like whenever the Techodon like knocks him away, the goop just falls on the floor, and the projector like goes over there by Kevin and them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how did that happen?
Yeah.
But it's strong enough to bring a whole planet back together.
Exactly. And then, like, afterwards, like, he explodes and he's all over everybody.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, Ben, get off us. And he perfectly gets every bit of himself, too.
Yeah. You would have to, right?
Yeah. But it's like, it's not like gum or anything. You know, he looks like a jello. How is
Yeah, yeah,
none
yeah.
of it getting stuck in their hair and
He's
stuff?
almost like a water, like less of
Yeah.
a goop and more of like a liquid, honestly.
Like a, you know how hydrophobic? So, like, they would just slide off of water.
Yeah.
It's like that, but with every other surface, like surface phobic. You know what I mean?
Like
it would
cornstarch or something. Was
Yeah,
cornstarch
yeah,
like that?
I think so.
Well, you can mix cornstarch and water. That's probably not the
Yeah.
best example, but
But you know how you can
yeah.
get things that are hydrophobic, so a water drop will just perfectly stay on top
Mm-hmm.
and it never mixes with it. I think that's what he is, but with like everything else, every other surface.
He's everything phobic.
Yeah,
Doesn't get on anything else.
yeah, he's should be canceled at this point. You know?
I do like that Kevin's cleaning his car after, and that sets up later because when they destroy his car. I mean, we know that Kevin loves his car, but if this is the only episode of Ben 10 you ever see,
Yeah.
this sets up the fact that Kevin's really protective of his car because he goes,
Exactly.
"There's still Tennyson goo on here," and he's like
Yeah.
wiping it off. Which I don't think there would be because you would need all that matter
Yeah.
to come back together to turn back into Ben.
Yeah, but he still thinks that. But like we just saw that if that's true, then you would still have a little bit of Tennyson in your hair and on your clothes and stuff, not just your car. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I don't like Goop's voice. I think it's too stinkfly for
It
me.
sounds almost exactly like Stinkfly.
You know this is cool. Oh man, my wings are too wet for takeoff.
Because, I mean, the original plan, I think, for the aliens was that Ben's not going to get those original 10 back, or
Yeah.
original 13, 14, however many he had.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, like, I don't know if that message got to D in time, because D.
Yeah.
Bradley Baker's every alien, so he's
Yeah.
like, well, I've got this voice.
Yeah, it sounds too much like Stinkfly, and D. Bradley Baker's like, what the f*** do you want from me? I'm voicing 10 different aliens, and I've already voiced others. I'm sorry that I can't do 15 voices. What do you want?
It is funny, he doesn't voice Cash in this. Normally he voices Cash.
Yeah.
But it's some other
He's
guy.
probably tapped out. He's like, leave me alone. Okay, I'm doing everything I can here. They've got him in a basement. They're feeding him like one granola bar a day. And giving him some water. Like, okay, now read these lines real quick. Okay, we'll come
Yeah.
back tomorrow. You know? Like, that's D. Bradley Baker in the basement of Cartoon Network Studios.
So funny. I do think he sounds great. Like,
No,
all of his
yeah,
voices
he's
are
awesome.
good. It's just funny that, like, they make him do every single one of them.
Exactly.
And that's another budgetary thing. It's got to be because,
Oh,
like,
for sure.
I mean, obviously, it's better when there's more variety of the voices.
Yeah, and I think that's like studio-wise, it's not.
Yeah.
If Dwayne McDuffie had it his way, they'd probably have a different person for each one, or
Probably so.
a couple of them, like we saw in Benton Classic. It just brings more life to the alien.
It's interesting to me that they don't have like Greg Sipes or Ashley Johnson even like voicing a character because like they're in
Yeah.
every episode.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, like I guess Gwen's voice actress wouldn't be able to do
yeah.
the Ben's aliens, but
When-
like Greg Sipes totally could do like
When
a
do we
humongous or
get
whatever.
a new alien? Actually, an Alien Force. It's a while, isn't it?
It's season 3. We get Lodestar to start off with.
Yeah.
But the first alien we get with a different voice is actually Wrath. It's
Yeah.
John DiMaggio.
I love John DiMaggio so much.
I love Wrath so much. I can't
Imagine
wait
John
for all that.
DiMaggio voicing all 10 aliens.
That would, dude, there's a point in Omniverse where he's like voicing probably like half of them.
I'm with it, dude. Oh, I love it.
He's all the big ones. He's like Humongous Sword, Armadillo, and all those different ones.
Yeah.
I wanted to discuss the Techodon armor. So it's called armor like in fandom, but like I don't know, is it just something that possesses like a human host, or is it something that was designed to like like a Terminator almost? Like, does the armor work independent of human or
I think
other people?
I think it's more the armor is sentient, right?
Yeah.
So it gets blown to bits, but it still has the arm. So the sentience is now in the arm. Well, the arm's like, well, I don't have a body. I could make a body very easily. Someone just has to put me on, and then I'll just incorporate myself onto him. But I think it's designed to be like a shell kind of thing of wiring stuff, but it has the AI intelligence, artificial intelligence of, okay, but, I could take someone over. You know, they can be my new body. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if the robot thought about it enough, right, the Techodon robot, it could have fashioned its body and then just kicked Cash out and then been born again kind of thing, you know what I mean? And who's to say that wasn't what it was going to do as soon as it was finished? Because it wasn't finished by the end of it. Cash kicked it out. So I think if Cash had let it just kind of finish, we may have seen Cash get kicked out the tuchus of it.
The tuchus. Like it farted out.
Like a butt flap, and then it would just be the whole Techodon thing again.
Do you think the rest of the pieces of the Techodon armor reformed into other stuff?
No, I think they were so minuscule that they just couldn't. You know what I mean? Kind of like the only way to kill Wolverine is to throw him into the sun, kind of thing. Yeah. It's the same thing. The only thing is to atomize it, essentially.
Interesting. Very interesting. I think I would have liked Cash to become like a series villain.
That would have been cool.
And
with the suit of armor?
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been sick.
And I say that, but I want my cake and I want to eat it too because the bully learning his lesson and becoming more mature. It's the theme of the episode. It's sort of what Ben kind of sets up earlier with his speech to him. Yeah. And he kind of learns like, okay, I shouldn't be a dickhead.
We could have both of those though. Hear me out. Let's say Cash only has the arm part, right? Yeah. By the end of this episode, and then he leaves, and the next time we see him, it's kind of gone to his legs, and then the third time we see him, it's all the way up to his face, and then next season we fight a full-on Techodon, and then we realize after you knock the head off, it's Cash again, but he's been completely taken over, and you have to save him, and then he gets the redemption.
That's interesting.
That could have been a cool way to do it. That way we get both. We get more Cash being a villain, and then we still get the redemption of him maybe later on in the show.
And I don't know. I mean, Cash and JT are kind of pathetic characters.
Yeah.
Like they've never been taken too seriously, but having him in this episode be very brutal, I kind of made me want more of that.
Oh yeah.
Especially if he knows Ben is the Ben 10. He knows Ben as the heroes.
Which they kind of gloss over that. Kevin turns into, suits up Kevin, and he's just like, oh yeah, let's fight. And then Gwen saves JT, and then Ben turns into Chromostone, and we're like, oh, he didn't see Ben turn into Chromostone. He's just fighting someone. But then Cash says, oh, just because you're a freak now, you think I'm going to change anything, So he may not put two and two together about aliens and stuff, because Ben doesn't really become a superstar yet.
No, and he does it off screen, so we don't ever see him transform. He must go hide and come back, but I'm pretty sure he knows he's fighting Ben when he's Chromostone.
100%. I think he does know that, but he doesn't put it together that he may be all of the aliens that this guy is seeing.
Oh, maybe so.
You know what I mean?
Maybe so. But then again, if you see Kevin and Gwen with an alien, you might just assume since they're all buddy-buddy.
But like you said, they're pretty stupid.
Yeah, that's true. I liked bringing it back to the Kevin fight where Kevin's going to beat him up at the abandoned factory.
Yeah.
I love that Kevin is like, oh, you have alien tech on you? Nice. I really like that.
Yeah,
so he can just unload on him.
And how stupid is JT? Because he's like, he goes to the war and he's like, no, he's really out to get Ben. The thing that's made JT worried is that he has a glove on him that is giving him superpowers. And then they're like, JT, did you forget to tell us anything? He's like, yeah, he has a glove on that does superpowers and stuff. He's like, that's the whole reason you got worried. Why didn't you bring that up from the beginning?
Why didn't you go to the authorities first? Why did you go to Ben?
You know what I mean?
first?
Yeah, it's so dumb. They're so stupid.
Speaking of police, why didn't Kevin go to the police when they pushed his card on the thing?
Kevin doesn't care. You know how many tickets he has? They'd arrest him before they arrest JT and Cash. And then they'd impound his car.
That's a great point.
Kevin will never go to the police for anything.
But no, JT beats the crap out of Kevin to a Vegeta level. I was saying this is like Vegeta going to fight the hero before Goku can get to him or whatever. He gets his ass kicked and he's just stuck in that building.
Yeah. Oh man, he's got even at the end, it's kind of sad because he's trying to absorb a different type of metal, and the guys just shoot him and stuff. But the Kevin, just like when they fought for Dona, he was like, "Give me your best shot." He's obviously knocked out. He's like, "I can take it." Yeah. Stupid.
He's just in it, man.
I love
he's
Kevin.
in it to win it.
Kevin's like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked, but I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it.
He does super sick ass 360 jump in the air, and he comes back down and slams the ground and does a ground pound.
Yeah. And then he tunnels under and punches him from the ground.
Yeah. What the? Bro's on demon time. What the hell was that? Why didn't he do that more?
And he still got his ass kicked.
Real talk.
What the Kevin? That's the downgrade of Kevin throughout the series is really one of the most upsetting things about it.
It is, and I think if we just got Kevin winning some of these like low level fights, it wouldn't feel as bad.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the DC everyone's as strong as Superman argument.
Yeah.
If everyone's tough and we want to make everyone a threat, then they're gonna beat up Kevin first. You know?
Yeah, they have to beat up Kevin to be like, oh, Ben has to step in, kind of thing. It is exactly Vegeta and Goku. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To fight Goku, you have to beat the shit out of Vegeta.
Yeah, and it's like Vegeta's already like the coolest, strongest, coolest
Yeah.
fighter, but like, oh god, now Goku has to fight him.
Oh, he beat Vegeta? Okay, Goku's got to step in.
It's like, bitch, Vegeta's lost every single
Yeah.
fight from the past like 80.
The thing
arcs.
is like sometimes Kevin's not even Vegeta. He's fucking Yamcha. You know what I mean?
That's an insult.
I'm so saying, you know?
Is Gwen Vegeta? Is
Yeah, Gwen could be Vegeta every now and
Gwen
then.
Caulifla?
Yeah.
But no, this is a great. It's a fun like character thing. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's like the most important bits
Nothing
of
serious,
episode.
but still worth to watch it. you
Yeah.
know?
I also like that JT and Cash are in it. Like I know they
Yeah.
were like a huge part of Classic. Like every iteration of Classic has JT and Cash in some form or fashion. So it's cool that they're in the town. So I'm assuming like it's not like you have to have JT and Cash around.
Yeah.
But we also don't see them too much after this. Like I don't think we see them at all in Omniverse. They're
No.
in Ultimate Alien a couple times. The next time I can really think of, I'm sure they're in the backgrounds and stuff. But next time I can really think of is like when they go to school after Ben is like outed as a hero, and they're like clapping and like
Yeah.
you're happy to see him. And all that
I think
stuff.
that it really is the conclusion to JT and Cash
Yeah.
with Ben. They're like, okay, this is who you are. We respect it. Sorry for being dicks.
Which is kind of nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
they kind
it
of
shows
matured
growth,
and
yeah.
growed. Yeah, they growed up.
Yeah, I heard it. I wasn't gonna bring attention to it, but
I might as well. You know. But no,
a solid 7, I think.
yeah, I'm kind of hovering around 6.57.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. Like we get the No Juice for You, we get the Mr. Smoothie introductions, we get Goop's whole Goop sequencing. I love Goop's animation because it's always like fluid and fun to look at.
We get an actual transformation animation.
Yeah. It's like a very gooey. I wouldn't say it's like the most
liquefied.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the most detailed animation, but it looks good.
Isn't it kind of weird that you get Goop in the same episode that he has a craving for smoothies?
Oh.
You think that's like a holdover from being Goop? You know
That's
what
interesting. Kind of a big chill pregnant thing where it's like it affects his tastes.
I mean? Yeah. That makes sense.
I believe it. I believe it for sure.
Yeah, that is the Gauntlet. Like we said, really fun episode for Ben 10 Alien Force Season 1. Like we said earlier, we are wrapping up soon for Season 1. Stay tuned for the rest of the episodes. They're going to be coming out every Monday. We'll be having videos on Fridays coming up soon. And Hopper goes live on Tuesday. I go live on Wednesday. We try to go live on Saturdays. Holidays coming up. May not be as consistent with that, so bear with us on that. But what did you guys think of this episode? Have you seen it yet? Do you like it? And let us know everything in the comments down below. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.